What's good, guys? You're watching Nerds Discuss here in March of 2023. I'm DJ Costin.
I'm Redneck Alcatraz.
And I'm Apocalyptic.
And of course, we are joined by a brand new hat. Thanks to the internet.
The hat. The hat.
Thanks
We
to
love the
internet.
hat.
Yes, you know you love
It's the best hat you've ever seen. Look at that. Look at that shit.
It's the best
By the
hat
way,
here.
if you are wondering why we're a little late today, you can blame me. Me and my dad were doing work on the car. It was a bit late. It's always fun. It's a great time.
And then more technical difficulties, and you couldn't figure out how to fix.
Oh, technical difficulties. So these two can't see me, so I could stick my middle finger up at them, and they wouldn't know until a few moments later
Except
when
I'm
there's a bit
watching
of
the
delay.
wrestler stream,
I was
so
going
I
to
see
say, yeah, there's just a slight
Screw your
delay.
double fingers.
There's a delay because you're watching the Twitch stream, so you get to see it when everybody else does.
It's not that big a delay.
No.
Anyway, welcome to Nerds Discuss. We're on episode 4 of the year. I know, bit of a weird numbering, but the second episode was a bit of a touch on I forget the name.
Oh, Wizards of the Coast debacle that they were having, which they're still having some issues.
We might do an update on that at some point. But yeah, this month, there's been quite a bit of news in the tech world and in the gaming world. And I guess we're going to start off. I think we should start off with the NVIDIA topic, because I think that's pretty cool. We should kind of start there. What do you guys think?
Go for
it. It's at the top of the list.
It is
I've actually
indeed.
been paying attention to some of it, but there's also some other stuff that's fairly recent that has not made this list, only because it's probably come up in the last few days.
I mean, if
So
you can find the articles and post them in the Discord, we've got time to cover them towards the end, we will.
Well, you for some reason insisted on giving us this long list when you know how we go when we cover topics, and it ain't very fast.
Look, there was a lot that happened this month.
That was only on the 14th you posted this list.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot that happened just in the first 2 weeks.
More stuff.
But yeah, so our first topic today, NVIDIA announced Video Super Resolution, or VSR, and it is now available for RTX 30 series and 40 series GPUs. Redneck and APOC they currently are unable to enjoy the new technology, but I have given it a try, and I can tell you now, it is as good as what NVIDIA are claiming. Basically, it uses AI to upscale video content, so where you could stream at 1080p, 720p, and you can actually upscale it to 1080p if you're like a 720 or whatever, or even 4K, as long as you've got like a new, and a bigger, newer monitor. New chair. Ooh. We can have a little discussion with the chat as well at times. So if you've got any questions and you're in the Twitch chat and you'd like to know anything about what VSR is or any of the other topics that we're covering today, or just general questions about the podcast, feel free to ask them in chat. I don't mind, just as long as they're not "why is Costin gay?" because we've already covered I'm bisexual, not gay. There is a difference. Yeah. But yeah, the AI-powered upscaling feature has been brought to Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge at the moment, the Chromium-based browsers. That's kind of it. But yeah, that's basically it. It's just using AI technology to upscale videos and make them look a bit crisper and sharper, kind of similar to their DLSS technology, which they've been using in games for the last 5 years, 6 years.
Okay, so they're gonna make it look fancier.
Yeah, it obviously one of the key selling points on it is it's meant to be able to lower bandwidth usage, because rather than watching a 4K native video content on like YouTube, which can use like up to 50 megabit a second in broadband connection, you can just play it back at 1080p instead. Use way less because an average Twitch, not just Twitch stream rather, but an average video on YouTube on 1080p is about somewhere in the region of about 8 to 10 megabits per second, and then that jumps up to about between 25 and 50 for 4K. So considering that you're halving the bit rate that you're watching at, but getting a crisper image, I think it's definitely a good move in the tech space.
Definitely.
It's hard to show on like stream or anything like that about the AI scaling technology, the VSR stuff. I would try and show it, but unfortunately, Twitch only allows us to stream at 1080p.
I was gonna
So
say
you
it would
wouldn't be
end
able to
up
see
being
it.
scaled up only to get like reduced back down.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't actually be able to show you on OBS, but I've tried it. It is really good. It is great. Although I have no real need for it on the basis of I have a super fast internet connection anyway. But I have tested it. It does look cool.
Fancy, getting all fancy on us.
Yeah. That's kind of all there really is about it. It's, like I say, AI upscaling. It just basically converts a lower res picture to a higher res one. That's basically it. Next topic.
I mean, some of these probably don't take a whole lot because it's like, it's simple. We're adding new. There's like, oh, this is a fancier version of what we're planning on doing. Or what we already have, essentially.
Yeah, because I know when I got the list together today, not today, on a couple of weeks ago, I was going through it and I was like, what could be covered quickly? What could be covered like relative over a period of time?
Oh, so you went with fast topics instead of thorough topics like we normally do.
Yeah. Because I sort of try to throw a few ones in there because it's like sometimes we just want to like give the news as it is and like break down into smaller segments, but then on some we like to actually have a discussion about it. Arthur Morgan is a character from Red Dead Redemption 2. Fuck me, I can't English.
There you go, you got it out eventually.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay, you want to know what's funny about that? In one of the Discord servers I'm in, they literally gave me the nickname Redneck Redemption.
Oh, I love it.
It's like that wasn't even planned. It's just like Redneck Redemption.
I do love it. I do love that nickname. Anyway, second topic. I'll let Redneck cover this one because this one seems to affect the US more than the UK.
Oh, the self-repoing cars.
Yes, the self-repoing cars. We do have some articles and some stuff which we'll link in the YouTube video, which you can go and check out on YouTube, youtube.com/@nerdsdiscuss. We've also got a just quick promo of all of our stuff as well. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. We're also on a new website called Anchor FM, which is technically integrated with Spotify, but don't worry too much about that. We're also on YouTube, and we have a Twitter as well. And also, as always, don't forget to check out our website, nerdsdiscuss.com. But yeah, moving on to the next topic, Redneck. Get your ass covering this one, boy.
It's funny as hell, especially considering the reputation of one of the main manufacturer in this. So Ford has filed a patent to allow self-driving cars to drive away from their owners that don't keep up payments. I.e., they'll say, we're repoing this and just have it drive back on its own. Which, they're not the first one to start doing weird shenanigans with their vehicles. BMW had a thing with microtransactions with their vehicles, which just resulted in car owners pirating their own vehicles' features.
I know Tesla's one of the ones that are also locking a lot of the features behind subscription models as well.
Yeah, but Tesla's a little weird. They've got like cameras that, like, if you enable the self-driving feature, but you take your hands off the wheel, it'll actually flash an alert at you and then turn off the auto drive.
Yeah,
forcing you to put your hands back on the wheel.
Yeah, to be fair, Tesla have done some good things in their software. The only thing I don't like, and this isn't just down to Tesla, this is sort of like the automotive industry as a whole, and that is if you're going to build a car with features, and I am paying for a car that has those features in it, I should be allowed to use those features. I am not going to pay a separate subscription model to use those features. One of the things that really annoys me, I can't remember if it's BMW or if it's Ford. I think it is Ford. They have heated seats. They are built into the car as standard, but you have to unlock a subscription model in order to be able to use the heated seats.
I think that was BMW because they. This article talks about them setting up microtransactions for their vehicle features.
I know. BMW have had a few. Like I think there was with BMW, one of them was the aircon system. You had to pay a subscription to use the aircon. And I was like,
Jeez.
most vehicles nowadays have aircon as standard. Like, why should that be behind a paywall?
Yeah. Although it does say here that the Ford, if you don't keep up with your payments, it'll give you a warning and then start stripping functionality away. Like your cruise control, your automatic window controls, automated seat controls, some components of the infotainment. Really? That's a word?
Yeah, infotainment. Basically, it's because the center of the console, obviously where your radio used to be, where you used to load your tapes in, or
I mean, you can still
your
plug in
8
an MP3
tracks.
player or like a USB drive and play your music. You still run a radio.
Yeah.
It's just it also features like your navigation, your other stuff. But it's like it starts turning these things off.
Yeah, I really don't like it.
The aircon, as you referred to, the air conditioning, automatic locking, and remote key function. Then eventually, it just drives the hell away.
Honestly, it is the most stupid thing ever. If I'm paying for a car, I get all the features. Don't lock them down behind subscription models.
I
mean, you talk about
the
that
auto
hasn't been a
repo
thing for ages. Look at the gaming industry nowadays. Back in the day, you'd get an actual game. Now, you have to buy a quarter of a game, then you have to buy a DLC expansion pack, pre-order. All this bullshit.
Yeah, but the thing is, this even adding on to that, even with the DLC things, like back in the day, you used to buy DLCs and it'd add additional content to the games, like it does now. But it's the fact that a lot of these games, like for example, Destiny, they're adding extra content to the games, but then they're charging near enough the full game price for those DLCs, and it's like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah, and I remember back in the day, think of like, this is obviously more towards like, competitive sort of games. Obviously, there is like non-competitive games that have it as well. Like back in the day, if you wanted to, if you wanted to unlock the additional content for like, after game, like extra stuff you get when you finish the game or whatever, all you'd have to do is like, complete challenges. That's all you'd have to do. Where now it's like, oh, you want this extra bit of content? Give us $50. There's no challenge.
I like how Borderlands did it. Where like, here's an expansion, $10.
Yeah. Like having additional features, even going back onto the whole automotive thing. If it was a case of, okay, so your center console has the ability to, I don't know, we'll say GPS as a prime example, okay? The center console, it has GPS available, but you'd have to pay as a subscription because we have to maintain the software for it. That would be fair enough. That would be a fair subscription that I would say is okay. The things like heated seats, heated steering wheel, things like the air conditioning, the automated windows, the remote key function as well. The key parts that you end up getting as standard on cars nowadays.
Well, I've got I've got an image here of a couple of the additional stuff you have to buy. So,
do you want to send it over in the Discord and I can put it up on the stream?
Yes.
Yeah. Also, one of the things I want to point out on the automotive thing, and this is,
pop it in
I don't know about
things.
anywhere else in the world, but this is a running joke here in the US about Fords. Fix or repair daily, FORD. Found on road dead, FORD. Effed over remade Dodge.
Yeah, it is really,
there's
really
a lot
weird.
of jokes about the quality of Fords.
Whereabouts am I going for the image?
Just scroll down and you'll see a screenshot of the website that says, so for $700, if you pay $750, you can get cruise control with stop and go function.
There you go. It's up on the stream right now.
Yeah, if you pay additional $399, you get suspension.
Active cruise
adaptive
control with stop and
suspension.
go function, £750.
The drive recorder.
Apple functions, so you know your Apple phone can be
Jeez.
used wirelessly and connectively and safely. You have to pay
Do you want to know the
265.
stupid thing, right? Apple CarPlay, you can buy an entire entertainment system for about £150 that is literally just a car stereo replacement that has Apple CarPlay built in.
Yeah.
What the actual hell? That is actually ridiculous.
And if you want to record your driving experience, £199.
Yeah, but they do have a trial. It does specify trial now.
Oh yeah, trial now. Yeah. Can't deny the trial.
Can't complain. They're giving you a free trial.
Yes, and it will be judged as dumb.
Yes.
Just talking about the self-repossessing thing, I can only see in one case where that would be useful. There is only one case where that is really useful, and that is for finance companies.
But then really not useful for repossession.
I can just imagine you walk into the store, buy
kind
your
of
groceries,
both stories,
walk back out, and your car's gone.
Yeah, put them out the job.
you drive to work, and then you get to work, sit in there, car payments haven't been made, and then all of a sudden the car's fucked off and you're stranded at work and you can't get home.
Yeah.
Where the fuck's my car, bro? Phones the police. Oh well, it was repossessed, bro.
But the thing to think though?
Well, also the hackers are gonna fall in love with this.
Oh yeah. The thing to think though is, would it be able to activate mid-drive, like you're just busy driving to an important meeting, or your wife's busy giving birth in hospital, you're on the way to hospital, and it just does a 180? Like, nope, you haven't paid your bills, bro.
Well, actually,
you got your wife in the back seat, spread eagle, about to give birth, and it's just like, bitch, you think you're going to the hospital? Fuck you, I'm going back to the Ford dealership. Just better hope someone at Ford's a fucking midwife.
Okay, well, here's the funny fact. I've actually been hearing rumors that there's talk of like, if some of these automated car functions, if there's like a warrant out for your arrest, there's been discussions of like, what would happen with these automated cars? Like, if they keep adding in this self-driving stuff, is it at one point going to go, hello, Dave, we've noticed there's a warrant for your arrest. All the locks click and it starts driving. It's like, rerouting you to the nearest police station.
Imagine if that started happening. This is one of the things that does scare me about self-driving cars, is literally anybody could have access to it. The government could have access to it, etc. And it's like, that is just scary to think about, because like you say, there's a warrant for your arrest. Let's drive you off. Shit. Would it be worse if you shat your... This is Retro Neon 353 official in the Twitch chat. Would it be worse if you shat your pants, went to a public toilet, and you come out pantless and the car's fucking gone?
No pants for you.
Well, like the other side of the scary thing is like, oh, not the government, but like a hacker. Like, think of like, I don't know, something drastic like a hitman. Like, you're driving along in your little car, and then a hitman just hacks your car, and then you drove off a bridge.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
like,
the funniest fact, some of the self-driving functions are easy to make them, cause them to glitch, causing the vehicle to stop. And at that point, it's like, well,
it's like the thing is,
glitch and come to a slamming stop on the highway where everybody's doing like 70 plus, and suddenly you plow to a stop.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
The thing that really, really annoys me, though, is I don't see how they could turn around and say that this is going to be useful for car repossession. Because if you look at it in the long term, and you think about the amount of people that, the people who are in the repossession job industry, they'll be put out of work if it was, especially if it was car repos. But also, imagine the amount of people that would get pissed off because their personal belongings and their effects are all in the vehicle and they don't get a chance to take it out. At least if someone comes knocking on your door to repossess the car, you get a chance to get your items out of the vehikel.
Don't forget your wife in the middle of giving birth.
Well,
we're repossessing your wife, bro. Just take her.
Keep the kid too.
Yeah. Nah, I'll have the kid. I'll get a couple of bucks for it on Craigslist.
On Craigslist. Man, people don't use that anymore. It's all Facebook Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace or eBay.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is very. It's very unsafe. I think it, like with anything, I think there has to be moderation, but there also has to be a what's the word that I'm thinking of here? Regulation. That was it. There needs to be high regulation on it.
Regulations, yeah. Safeguards too. I honestly think on that, because it's like there are so many ways this could go wrong. I mean, then again, that is true with any new technology.
Oh yeah, look at AI as a prime example.
Well, I mean, they've been writing stories for decades about like the dangers of AI or automation and what happens when it can go wrong. So it's like you'd think these tech companies, as they're coming up with this stuff, would go, this went wrong here and this. Let's make sure we set this so this doesn't happen. But a lot of them, it looks like they're just rushing forward with this, so they're not actually like safeguarding or doing any of that.
Too many
Kind of like how
of these
Microsoft laid off its
companies,
AI ethics team.
Too many of these companies are just trying to be like, hey, we're getting these features out first. They're not actually being like, okay, we're releasing the best of this feature. Even then, I wouldn't even call it a feature. It's just an inconvenience.
Yeah. As one article I read put it, in the race for the AI, in the AI race, safeguards and ethics slow it down, so those are thrown out.
These companies aren't thinking, they're just doing exactly, Neon. Exactly.
They're doing what companies always do and just think of the money. Like, oh, we're the first company to release this feature. It doesn't work and it's shitty and it's stupid, but we're going to be the first one to have it. And people are just going to think,
this is the thing.
Something shiny, something
even
new.
with Tesla, when they released the whole self-driving thing, they went and said we're releasing it as a beta and it's unfinished, but we are the first ones to have this technology. And it's like, okay, the fact that you've admitted that it is going to have faults and that it is a beta and that it is not a finished product, good on you for admitting that. Because most other companies wouldn't do that. They would just be like, here's a fully fledged feature. Here, go hack at it. And then end up getting fucking lawsuits on them because the feature didn't work as intended.
I mean, yeah, fair enough that they admitted it, but it's still, when it comes to something that can literally cause serious harm or death, it's not something you really want to bring out that can be buggy. Like, there's a difference between bringing out a game on beta and a self-driving car on beta.
Just remember, with the self-driving car thing, they have a lot of regulations and stuff to go through because they have highways, for example. In the UK, they have the Department of Transport and things like that they've all got to get. They've got to get those regulations. They've got to get the sign-off from the government officials that basically says, hey, yeah, this is safe for the roads. Otherwise, they can't use it.
Yeah. Well, that also, you have to have, even in the U.S., we have road safety measures. They have to pass, crash tests, emissions, and other safety regulations.
Yeah.
Before they can even be sellable to the public. However, I don't think there's a single regulation currently governing self-driving. I don't think anything's actually been formally made on the federal level.
Okay, so in the UK, I can tell you that there is one regulation, and that is that you are only allowed to use self-driving on any of the motorways or bypasses. Because basically they're for faster moving traffic, but also there is less likely for those to have an issue and encounter an unknown obstacle on like a motorway, etc. Whereas, sorry for you Americans, the freeway. But they've basically turned around and said that you can't use the self-driving features on a standard A or B road within the city.
I get where they're coming. It's fine where they're coming from with the whole there's less obstacles to come across, but it's also, I'd say that's worse in the aspect of you've got probably thousands of cars there if you're driving during the day. Thousands of cars that's going to be going 70, 80 miles an hour. If a mistake happens, there's more likely going to be death if you're going that fast to going 20.
Oh no, that's nothing. Think about the German Autobahn.
Oh yeah. The thing is, though,
don't have a speed limit. It's just go.
The thing is, if we take a look at Tesla as a prime example, their self-driving feature is fucking awesome. Like, they have got everything down to a T. Yeah, it still has a few issues because I know in America they're running a very limited beta on inner city driving on the self-driving beta.
It also does not do well. From what I've heard of a guy who's been driving one and testing it on certain things, it does not do well in rural areas.
Yeah.
Because it throws a fit if an animal crosses the road in front of it.
And the thing is, this is one of the reasons why this is what I was saying about the regulation. You know, the systems are more tuned for faster flowing traffic. You're not going to run into an issue. You're not going to run into an accident on a motorway if you're driving one of these cars, because the radar detection that it uses at the front will know if a car in front of it's slowing down, it has to slow down. If the car in front of it is stopped, it will automatically stop. Like there is no issue on motorways. Funny story. I actually saw this on TikTok a while ago. Someone was test driving the self-driving beta in America in a city near them, and they came up to one of the cross junctions. And they came up, and a fat guy walked in front of him along across the pedestrian crossing, and it identified it as a truck. It identified the fat guy as a fucking truck, and like I'm talking like a semi. Like I'm not talking like it was like a little van. It identified it as a semi truck, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Dude, all I can think of is like how some of that would react, because it's like here in Texas, especially when you get rural areas, you have animals that just cross the road and don't care.
Oh yeah,
including some that it's like if you hit them, it's gonna do nothing to the vehicle, because we're talking like squirrel, a rabbit, it just goes. It's like
driverless cars on Wi-Fi. It's a no. Well, no, yes. Neon. They would never need Wi-Fi. Number one, all of the artificial intelligence is handled on the car. You don't need an internet connection, but also it uses satellites for the for stuff for emergency stuff. But in terms of the actual processing of, is this a human? Is this a car? It's all done on device. It's all done locally.
Yep.
This is why it came back turning around and saying that a fat guy walking across a crosswalk was a fucking semi truck.
Yeah.
Because it was
localized.
localized.
The part I get concerned is like feral hogs. We have those around here, and they can go anywhere from 100 pounds to 500 pounds.
Yeah.
And they grow essentially natural body armor. And if you hit one of those with a car, your car will wreck out. And depending on what size pig you hit, it might get up and walk off. Now, how is a self-driving car how's that gonna react if it sees one pig and it's like the pig crossed the road and you're clear? Is it gonna see this large object in front of it and just go stop? Or is it gonna say, oh, you need to swerve, and it will
pigs
auto
built
swerve
different in Texas.
and then go off the road? Well, it's not just Texas. This is across
America.
The thing is,
US.
Neon,
Look
you're
at feral
saying
hogs in the US. And
so just to cover what Neon's saying, he says if the AI has a 1% chance of going rogue, then driverless cars are a bad idea. The thing is, the AI doesn't have a chance of going rogue. What it actually does is it has a chance of initiating fail-safes a lot earlier than planned because of the way that they're built. The AI that are built into the cars, they're not built to think for themselves. They think to sort of look at the different patterns that are currently happening that it's already programmed on and improve on those patterns.
It's a pattern analysis program.
Yeah. The likelihood of an AI of a car using AI going rogue is virtually zero.
It will go road though. It will not go space.
It'll go road, but not rogue or space. But yeah, I've just got the patent documents up because for this whole thing, it's basically very simplistic. But it's basically saying a lending institution, a medical facility, a repossession agency, and the police authority will basically have servers that will connect to a main network that will then connect to your phone and a car. And then basically that is how it'll effectively work. It's even got a diagram for a closed car, which it explains how. Well, the diagram shows how it can use the car to open a garage door if it's one of those ones that you can operate from internally in the car.
Oh, the smart garage?
Yeah.
See, and this is why smart home networks I don't like, because it can just do its own thing. And not like it intends anything wrong, it's just something happens, it short circuits, or it glitches, and then it just does.
So this is a 14-page
which apparently
document.
terrifies the hell out of Neon.
So this is a 14-page document, and it says systems. It's entitled "Systems and Methods to Repossess a Vehicle." An owner of a vehicle may default on a payment towards a vehicle for various reasons. The lender may send a default payment notice to the owner, followed by a notice of intent to initiate repossession proceedings. If the payment is not fulfilled within a certain period of time, the owner of the vehicle may opt to disregard the notice. After additional warnings, the lender may repossess the vehicles. Typically, the owner is uncooperative at this time and may attempt to impede the repossession operation. In some cases, this can lead to confrontation. 2. It is therefore desirable to provide a solution to address this issue.
I think it's dumb.
Forget about Alexa and Cortana.
Let me rephrase that.
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at your thing. Forget about voice activation, but everything I can guarantee, everything Neon uses AI in some form, shape, or way, and he has no way around not using that.
Okay, I'm going to say this on that whole AI thing. It's, in my opinion, not true AI. At the moment, where we're at is advanced analysis programs.
Yes.
It analyzes
advanced
what you
intelligence,
say,
I think, is the best way of using the AI. What's the word? What's the word when you've got two letters and it means another thing? I can't remember what it's called.
Acronym?
Acronym, that's it. The AI acronym could be more... could be described better as an advanced intelligence rather than an artificial intelligence, because it's kind of basically you've built the intelligence yourself, but it's advanced in the fact of all it's doing is it's just processing what you've given it.
I
think that's a better way of saying it.
I still don't think it's actually a true artificial intelligence. I believe that's an incorrect term. Advanced intelligence, maybe. But I still don't think intelligence is the proper term. Now, an advanced analysis, prediction, and interpretation program, yes. Because essentially that's all it does. It analyzes what you give it, and then interprets it.
Well, we discussed this.
That's like a voice-to-text program.
Well, we discussed this this last month. It's like, consider... YouTube. When you use YouTube, it effectively uses what they've defined as an AI to recommend videos, etc. to you. But all that is an algorithm. And that algorithm, it basically is pulling videos that you watch, analyzing metadata of that video, and going, hey, this is the parts of the video that this guy likes. Okay, let me add that into a massive database of information that I know about this person, and then basically serve up other videos that have similar content that matches these parameters. That's basically just how it works. And that's effectively how AI works as it is now. Even ChatGPT, it is limited to a certain amount of stuff that it knows because that's how it's been coded. It can only do the functions that it has been given. It cannot do anything more than that right now. It can't learn to do something outside of the parameters that it's been given.
That's why it's an analysis, prediction, and interpretation.
Yeah.
Because it will analyze it, it'll predict what you're doing, and try to interpret what you're doing into what you want.
Yeah, I think another way of explaining it as well is, imagine your phone, Neon. You know, this could work for anyone else as well. You've given your phone a reminder to remind you at a specific time. It's not going to just all of a sudden think that you want a web page and just display that web page at the time. It's what it's going to do at that time is it's going to give you exactly what you've asked for at that specific time. If you set a reminder that goes, display some text on my phone to remind me to take my medication at 11 p.m. tonight, well, it's only going to give you that reminder. It's not going to start opening up pop-ups that's just like, hey, here's a list of all your medication. It's only going to do what you've specified, and that's all that AI can do right now. It can only show, represent, and analyze data that it's been given to analyze.
Correct, because it's not truly alive or intelligent.
It's like even ChatGPT. Yes, that is technically on classification as an AI, because it is It is learning as it is doing things. It is learning context. It is learning information as it goes. But it's still only within that closed environment. It's still only certain information that it's been given. Plus, it can only work based on inputs for a certain task. It can't do anything outside that scope.
Though. Now, me and Costin have ranted on this, but this is a 3-person show. We have not gotten one person's opinion. Well, we've gotten.
This is all on you now, Pocky boy.
Yep, Jordan, give us your thoughts and opinions on this.
On
front and center.
Specifically, you talked about it a lot.
Well, the repossession thing, AI, like
AI repo cars.
The topic that we're meant to be covering is the car repossession, okay, and that whole smartifying thing. But we've kind of broadened that into a conversation about AI now. What are your thoughts on either?
Well, AI, as you said, it's nowhere near what they make it out to be. Like, yeah, cool, it's great what it does. It helps us out, like, with the whole non-branded service device. I can't say a name because she'll fucking hear me and say something.
You mean Siri?
Yeah, Siri. Yeah, Siri. Of course, Siri.
You're not serious, are you?
No. It's good for what it does, but it's not it's not like, it's not labeled as it is. Like you said, it's not actually alive. It's not thinking of itself. It's not going to be able to learn outside of the parameters that it's been given. Like, if I tell her, some things to do with like violence or whatever, she's not exactly going to start learning violence, and then in the middle of the night she's not going to jump out on the desk and start choking me in the night and then rule to take over the world.
Hiya! Oh wait, hold on, the scene didn't switch. Hold on. Hi! No, wait, my stream deck's crashed. Fuck!
I'll wait.
Oh no, fuck, I accidentally deleted my scene. Fuck.
Shall I continue?
Yeah, continue. It can't see.
So yeah, AI is great for the stuff that we have it to do. Will it one day maybe get to the point where it could go rogue if we keep messing with it and not learn from, stuff that we've seen in movies, which is entirely possible, and all that shit? Yeah, but at the point it's nowhere near at that. The self-repossessing car, sure, on paper it's great for like, its purpose. Somebody's not paying for their bills for their car, so therefore they lose access to it, and it gets rid of the whole risk of like, people coming out, repossessing the car, them getting threatened, abused, actually
just pause you a second, Dave Hawk. I can do it now. Hiya! There you go. There you go. You can continue now.
I'm gonna say I was waiting for Stream to catch up to see what you were doing. But at the end of the day, as much as they shouldn't have to deal with that side of their job, that is still their job at the end of the day. So if then this becomes a thing, then they're going to be out the job. So as we were talking about before stream actually started, the whole Amazon and everyone, Twitch laying off thousands of their employees, that's just more people losing their job. That's an industry that's basically going to become jobless. There's no one going to be working it except for like, I don't know, the people that are behind the scenes, maintaining the software and everything just to improve it and keep up with it, improve, any glitches, fix it. But the actual physical aspect of like going out and repossessing a car, that's just going to be God. That's going to be gone. I mean,
it's going to be God. You're right. It's going to be God.
It's only God. but then it's like, but as we said, like, how far will it go? What limitations are going to bring in? What regulations? Like, if you're in the middle of driving, will it then just repossess your car? Can it sense that there's somebody in the car? Like, if you just get nipped to the shops and you've got like your dog in there, or your sister in there.
We're gonna repossess your sister. Fucking gun taker. I'm gonna repossess your dog. No, not my fur baby.
Take the sister, not my dog.
You're not allowed.
And then, as you said, it will annoy a lot of people because they're going to lose their possessions. If a physical person comes, and takes your car, you have the opportunity to remove your possessions first. If the car just drives itself off, then there you go. You've just lost whatever stuff you keep in there. Some people keep like the laptops in there for work, their phones, CDs. If you still got a CD player, whatever reason you've got like a 1980s car or whatever, but. They're going to be complications with that. Fucking get rid of the times and get an aux cable or wireless. But yeah, it's stupid. On paper, it sounds good. It's practical. It helps us move and be more efficient with that side of work and make sure people aren't getting away with, cheating the system, not paying for stuff they should pay for. But in practical use, there's more bad sides of it than good.
Yeah.
Ain't none of it perfect.
Nope.
Nothing ain't ever gonna be perfect, and that's the thing. I don't think, even in our lifetime, etc. I don't think we're ever gonna. In our lifetime, we'll see AI get close to being complete, but I don't think we'll ever see it to the effect that movies have depicted it to be. Not in our lifetimes.
No, I don't think we will.
I think we'll see probably the start of it, getting close to it, but I don't think we'll ever see it anywhere near completion.
At least not to the degree that they show in movies and such. Now, it's possible we might end up there if we get like a technological leap forward, because we have seen that where we advance ridiculously fast in a short amount of time. I mean, just think about where we were technologically 20 years ago versus now. Just from 2000 actually like 2003 to now. How much has technology changed?
Yeah.
How much has like the ability to do things with technology? Now, that being said, it could slow down.
Absolutely.
Technology advancement could slow down. It could speed up. It could stay the same. We have no way of knowing what the future holds. There's just no way to know.
Yeah, there has to be a stopping point. We can't just keep advancing and advancing and advancing and advancing and advancing. There's going to be a point when we've hit, the threshold. We've done everything we can, then we're never going to move forward.
To be fair, the thing is that's kind of already been something that was spoken about in the technology world, but it's already been disproved. And it's a phenomenon known as Moore's Law, where they say that every 2 years, computer components will basically halve in size but double in performance, and that it will basically keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. Moore's Law basically was broken the moment NVIDIA released the 40,000 series GPUs. It was broken the moment AMD released their newest CPUs. It's getting more and more to the point now where technology is stagnating a lot. Yes, we're getting minor performance improvements, but we're not looking at the two times improvement over over a half size change. We're not looking at that.
There is no. This is something that's always bothered me, like in the science community, because they say, "Oh, this is how things are going to work," and this X is not physically possible, and then decade or two later they disprove that. So it's like any limits that we see upon ourselves or what we can do is based off of our current understanding.
Yeah.
Like if you were to ask anyone from the 1800s about traveling in space, they'd have thought you were insane, or even flying.
Maybe we should set a rule on what can be allowed for AI and what is not allowed. The only rule is it cannot be self-conscious. But this is the thing, Neon.
How do you define self-conscious?
Well, it's not just that.
How do you define the conscious
It's not just that. But the problem is, if you were to build an AI, it needs to have an element of self-consciousness to be able to do things for itself. Because otherwise, how is it going to learn from mistakes? How is it going to learn what's right? How is it going to learn what's wrong? That's the problem. It needs to have some element of self-conscious in it to be able to go, okay, I did this task wrong. How do I do it right? Or, okay, I did this task right. I don't need to try a different way.
I'm going to point out a flaw in your wording. Right and wrong are moralities. It's did it execute the task correctly?
Okay. Correctly or incorrectly is the better way.
If we get an AI who gets to the point and it's making moral decisions, then we have to go off of like whose definition of morality.
Yeah. Neon says it must not be
alive.
Serial
killer's morality is very different from the average person.
Neon says it must not be alive like we are. The thing is, I disagree with that statement. I believe AI should be able to have its full potential. What I do think is important, though, is AI should be self-contained and never be able to speak to or interact with any other system unless it is being specifically designed for a specific system. For example, if Apple decided to make an AI system that, well, they already have technically with Siri, they make the AI system, but it can only be used on Apple products, keeping it self-contained within its own little ecosystem rather than branching it out to be able to be, so say, Samsung's AI can talk with Apple's AI, that can speak with the government's AI, that basically means that if you decide to break the law once, every single phone you buy basically break. That should not ever be a thing. It should be Apple has a separate AI to what Samsung would ever build. It should be AI should have their own different containers.
Yeah, but how would you manage those containers if you're going to if you want AI to give its full potential? So basically, it can think for itself, learn from itself, improve, become smarter and smarter and smarter. Eventually, how do you stop it from being able to figure out how to break through that containment?
Because this is the thing: if you self-containerize it, it won't know that there is anything outside of that container. When we're talking about containerizing something, you keep it enclosed. It is not aware of anything outside of that container or outside of the parameters you've given it.
I think this is also going to be an issue of, well, there's multiple potential issues with this whole mess that part of it gets into philosophy, but not going into those. How do you make something smart enough, intelligent enough to be able to do everything you need it to do, but also prevent it from being able to learn about what's outside of itself and to keep it from trying to get out or trying to modify itself so it can do other things? Because that was one of the things they looked at with ChatGPT, like the newest version of it. It can modify itself already.
Oh, yeah.
In theory. Has it done so? Not that anybody's seen, but how do you make it smart enough to execute everything you need to do in an intelligent human or higher than human intelligence level, but still keep it contained?
I think the best way of sort
and
of
that's something they're gonna have to figure out, because I don't know how to do that yet.
I think the best way,
as technology advances, we'll figure out how to do.
So I think the best way to sort of explain how I mean by containerizing, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of something called Docker.
Issues?
Okay, no, you haven't heard of it. So basically, Docker it's effectively like a virtual machine system, except it's rather than it being a whole fully fledged computer virtualized, it's kind of by redneck.
Yeah, I gotta step away for a few minutes, but I got my headset on, so I can keep
instead
talking.
of it being like a full-on computer that's containerized, basically it's an application that is in its own little sandbox, if you like. And basically, those Docker containers can only can't access each other. You can only run applications in a Docker container. It can only access the resources in that Docker container. The only way that it can access anything from outside of that Docker container is if you give it mount points, but even then it can only access the stuff in that mount point. Like, yeah,
it can like when you're running virtual machines.
Yes, but instead of it being a fully fledged operating system, it's just the application. Because the thing is, if you
would work.
If you give an AI like a virtual machine environment, like for full operating system, etc., it could learn to break out. You know, that's the problem, because there are vulnerabilities in Windows and shit like that eventually it'll figure those out. But with Docker, because everything is so locked down, because every single resource, etc., is specific to that one container. It doesn't know, like, I have containers running for my Discord bots, but the containers don't know what's on any of the other containers. It has no idea what is on any of the other systems around it. All it knows is what is in that container. And that's what I mean when I'm saying AI needs to be containerized. It needs to be put into one environment that it can't branch out of. It can only access what you give it.
But since we don't know what AI could become, if it becomes, you know, like in the movies or whatever, like, you know, becomes self-intelligent, self-aware, self-conscious, and then it learns. How do you know that it won't then be able to become smart enough to figure out a way out of that Docker? Because as of right now, yeah, there's no way to. But that's because there's nothing that's been discovered, nothing that's been made, nothing that's been figured out, whatever. There's nothing as of right now that can.
This is the thing that you've got to look at. Technology advances at sort of the same rate as each other. It's like The Discord bots, etc., can only advance as fast as the programming language sort of, progresses. And this is the thing. It's the same with computers. The power of an operating system can only really ever be as powerful as the hardware that it's running on. If you isolate it to a Docker container, as time goes on, that Docker container security is going to get better and better and better as time goes on. So as you increase the security of a Docker container over time, the AI would have to learn a different way to try and get through it each time. And
So
by the time that it's
you'd
figured
have
out to get through another one, someone's probably already patched the other one. But it doesn't really matter anyway. It's a few years down the road, but also it's probably not going to happen in our lifetime. I don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to sit here and figure out the science on it because I can't be asked.
We're all talking about hypothetical situations here, but basically what you're saying is you've just got to hope that the AI doesn't learn more quickly than we can keep the security more up to date, which isn't a guarantee. In this hypothetical situation,
there's never a guarantee. There's never a guarantee that it'd never be able to break out of anywhere. It's like, what we could say. It's like, bloody hell! That prison in America that's got its own island. I'm struggling.
Which one is it?
I can't remember. I'm trying to think it. Redneck, you might know.
When I use in my name.
Oh yeah, that was it. Alcatraz. Yeah. But yeah, it's like that prison. It's meant to be effectively. You're not meant to be able. Nobody is meant to be able to break in or out of that prison. But who's to say that someone won't find a way?
I thought someone did. Am I thinking of a different prison?
No, Alcatraz, there were actually confirmed escapes. It's just they didn't get very far. There is one escape attempt. They don't know if the guys, if they drowned getting out or if they actually successfully escaped. It's unknown. That one's never been confirmed. But Alcatraz was not originally built as a prison. It was built as a fortification to defend the bay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that place is also.
Yeah, no, sort of. But this is what I'm trying to say as well. It's like nobody has successfully escaped from Alcatraz. Like when I say successful, I mean they're living on land, they're living a normal life, blah blah blah. They're out of the way of Alcatraz.
Again, that we know of. If you're going to break out of Alcatraz and you don't want to get caught, you're not going to announce, "Hey, I'm the first person that broke out of Alcatraz."
No, you're not. You're not.
so there could have been someone. We just don't know.
As Redneck's just said, many of them have been found before they've even reached land anyway.
Yeah, but not every single person that's ever broken out. So, like I said, as far as we're aware, nobody's successfully done it and survived.
But either way, this is the same thing that could. This is the same thing that could be said for AI as well.
I've actually heard of a story a guy who did get out of Alcatraz. The thing is, he turned himself in because he got off the island, ended up at the naval base, and then found out he was scheduled to be drafted to go to war, and he was like, "Nope, send me back."
Oh god,
that's fair.
That's funny. Redneck Alcatraz. Fucking hell. No, he's in call with us. Retro Neon 353 official says, well, Alcatraz is now no longer a prison. It's now a tourist attraction.
True. So people get out of that every single day.
Quite true. And after it was a prison, like, if you look at the history of Alcatraz, it's led a very interesting life. It was a prison. It was a coastal fortification. Then a regular full-on military installation, then a place for political prisoners during the Civil War, then back to a fort, then it was decommissioned for a while, then it became a prison, and so it's been a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's freaking me out how that chair just sounds a lot like Redneck.
I know, right? It's really, really scary. Or maybe it's the Stormtrooper helmet in the background.
Yeah, I think maybe all this time Redneck's just been a puppet.
Yeah,
and he hasn't actually ever been speaking to us.
The chair's got its hand up all the human's arse.
How do you know I'm not an AI from the future here to screw with all of you?
Fuck off! I'm kicking you from the call. Yeah, no. So
also, Sassy asked a question that I don't think anyone has ever mentioned. Have you? I picked up on. Have you ever seen the movie Megan?
Have you seen the movie Megan? No, nor do I want to because I'm not a fan of horrors.
I think I've heard of it.
It's
I'm
the
assuming
one with
we-
it's the one with a little
Heard
like
of it, watched it,
9-year-old
no.
that fucking is possessed or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Oh, it was while we were talking about AI, so assuming it was an AI sort of
Well,
film.
I think it's a puppet that gains sentience
Yeah.
and then goes a little
Oh,
crazy.
okay. No, I do. Yes, I know the film you're talking about. I haven't seen. I've seen trailers, but
Yeah,
I've never
I've seen the
it, yeah.
trailers.
Yeah, she wants to
So-
be. She wants to become the little girl, and then she ends up like swapping. The little girl turns more into a doll, and the doll becomes more real, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Now, I will say this. Technology will advance. Our understanding of it is based off what we know now.
Yeah.
But what we know as possible and able to happen will change in the future.
Much
So
of what we
everything
talk
think
about
we
is
know could be
speculation
proven wrong
around
in the
the
future.
yeah.
They may figure out the
speculation and hypothetical
answer to this really simple. It may just be a very simple thing.
I would say
Or-
speculation and
knows?
hydration, but I've run out of drink, so it's not necessarily hydration and
Hydration.
speculation.
I have.
Like, do I think AI could one day become to a point where it could, like, go rogue and take over the world? Yes. Is it going to happen in our lifetime? No.
Probably not. I'd say
Most
probably
not.
not. It could. It could
Very-
happen in
okay,
our
but it's at
lifetime.
least a
Very,
decade,
very low
maybe 4
chance.
down the road.
But yeah, we also we're gonna finish this topic now because I think we have gone over a little bit too much
Just a
in
little
depth
bit.
on this topic.
We spent like 5 minutes on the Nvidia one. We spent like an hour.
Hey,
and a
Not
half
even
on
fine.
this
that.
one.
I think it was
Nerds
like
we
60
discuss.
seconds. It was
Sometimes we
like,
go
here's
short,
this
sometimes
thing.
we go
Cool. But yeah, no. I earlier mentioned about Moore's law. So in case you don't know fully what Moore's law is, Moore's law makes the observation that the number of transistors in an integrated circuit doubles about every 2 years, meaning performance goes up, the size of a transistor, etc., goes down. Unfortunately, Mr. Gordon Moore, who was the creator and the co-founder of Intel, as well as the guy who proposed Moore's law, sadly passed away, age 94, on
wow.
March 24th of this year in Hawaii.
He lived a long time.
So a massive.
He saw a lot of shit change.
He saw a lot of shit change. He was at the forefront of quite a few of those changes, especially, co-founding Intel and things like that. So, if I had a hat on, in fact, Redneck's got a hat on, he can do it for me. I tip my hat off to you, Mr. Gordon Moore. Thank you very much for your service and helping us progress technology.
That comes off right.
Retro Neon asks in the chat, what are your opinions on the new Zelda game? Yes, I have. I've seen a couple of things about it. Tears of the Kingdom, it's called.
As I said in the chat, I didn't even know there was a new one.
It's going to be released on the 12th of May, 2023. Haven't really got any thoughts about it. I don't really care that much about. I'm not really a fan of Legend of Zelda.
As I've never played a Zelda game, so I have no interest in it.
Plus, I kind of playing a Zelda game with Super Smash Brothers.
Same.
Yeah.
The
No
N64
real
one,
opinion.
so yeah.
But yeah.
GameCube one for me.
Anyway, let's move on then. This is going to be an APOC only topic, so it gives me and Redneck a bit of a time to have a breather. Because we've been talking a lot in the last hour, and you've virtually said fuck all.
I've had my input when I can.
You said more lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been saying more this episode, but only because you said something. But yeah, the next topic, this one I don't know is definitely you. I can't load the Engadget website, so I can't do anything off of that one. So if you can, have you loaded the Engadget one?
Yeah, I've got it up in front of me. Assuming we're going down the list in order.
Yeah. There's also one Redneck posted at the very bottom of that the channel from Polygon that's also related to this one.
It's a newer post.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'll go off that one then. If it's a newer one.
No. So the one I posted is specifically to do with the EU, and then this one is just sort of a generic thing around the whole acquisition.
Okay.
So if you want to cover the EU thing first and then cover the rest of it, or if you want to cover the rest of it and then cover what the EU is, up to you.
Sure.
I don't know.
We'll go.
I was gonna say go with the older post and then this other one because it does talk about some stuff with the EU, UK, but I don't know if it's rehash of the old or if it actually is an update.
Gotcha.
Ladies and gentlemen, apocalyptic. Woo!
Oh wow, we get
No, that sounds like I'm.
fancy.
That sounds like I'm
change over.
fapping. That sounds like I'm fapping.
Who doesn't fap for me?
Don't do that again.
Everyone, I know.
Get on with it,
So
big boy.
yeah, so next one, yeah. So Microsoft's Activision Blizzard purchase will reportedly be approved by the EU is the first thing we're going to talk about, and then it'll be talking about the whole thing in the next one. So this one specifically is more just about the EU. So yeah, Microsoft reportedly cleared a major I can't even speak words. Regulatory hurdle as it tries to move towards finalizing its Activision Blizzard purchase. So if anyone didn't know, they were trying to purchase Blizzard. Yay, more Microsoft to fuck things up. So
hey, no, this deal is actually going to be really good for the gaming industry if it does go through.
Hopefully we can only see what time tells when it actually does go through, which is what the other one we'll talk more about since it's more up to date. The company licensing offers to competitors are expecting to appease European Union antitrust concerns about the 69 billion acquisition, according to Reuters. The EU previously said
Redneck, your topic for later's going off.
Yeah, it is.
The EU previously said it believed the deal could significantly reduce competition in PC, console, and cloud gaming. So I guess, yeah, that's where it might come in that it's actually going to be good, but we'll see. What they say it should do and what it will actually do is two different things. They could say it's going to significantly reduce the competition, but it might just do the opposite. It might not change it all. We don't know, but, if that's what they say, then hopefully that's what they'll actually go with. So, but the EU isn't expected to demand asset sales to approve the deal. However, potential sales of Call of Duty has been a point of contention, because everyone's, fucking obsessed with, Call of Duty. Microsoft wants to hang on to the property while using the licensing agreement to quell, I don't know how you pronounce that word, regulators. Is it quell?
Sure.
Thank you. Appreciate you. The company's pledged to keep the franchise on competing platforms for at least 10 years if the purchase closes. It's even bringing Call of Duty to Nintendo consoles. Woo! You can play Call of Duty on your Nintendo Switch.
Okay, I'd just like to interject here. So Sony are having a major issue right now with the whole deal. Primarily because they are worried that Microsoft are going to remove it and Sony aren't going to have the day one exclusive anymore, even though there has been discussions saying that they wouldn't ever remove that from Sony because Activision Blizzard would still remain their own company. They would just be under the Microsoft Studios umbrella. So it'd be Microsoft Studios that would be publishing the games.
No, not the hat.
The hat,
no.
Yeah, it has become pay to win.
But yeah, anyway, continue. I just wanted to make that comment about Sony. Sony are really, really scared at this point, but they've got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, there's always a good company that's scared. So Microsoft said that it's committed to offering effective and easily enforceable solutions that address the European Commission's concerns. They said our commitment to grant long-term 100% equal access to Call of Duty to Sony, so there we go, Steam, Nvidia, and other preserves the deal, the benefits to gamers and developers, and increases competition in the market, a Microsoft spokesman told Reuters. So yeah, so they don't think it's going to cause any issues, even though Sony, were shaking their little booties. So in January 2022, the company announced to help it compete against industry leaders Tencent and Sony while developing its take on metaverse. Gaming is the most dynamic and exciting category in entertainment across all platforms today and will play a key role in the development of metaverse platforms, which is what a spokesman of Microsoft CEO said. And that's pretty much it.
The CEO, Satya Nadella, by the way.
Oh yeah, Satya Nadella. I didn't think if we cared enough about the name, but yeah, sure. If you want to know, yeah, Satya Nadella, if you care enough. So Microsoft will still need to appease the US Federal Trade Commission and UK regulators before the deal can be finalized. The company only has until July to sort out the unitrust concerns, or it will need to renegotiate or abandon the purchase, which would mean paying a break-up fee of up to $3 billion, which, you know, they probably made it last month in microtransactions in Call of Duty, so they'll be fine.
Yeah, no, the thing with Sony, it really boils my blood, because there was some documents released. I don't know if this is in the article that the second article, but basically Sony tried to besmirch Microsoft by turning around and saying that Game Pass is effectively ruining Sony with their PlayStation, and I'm just like, I'm sat here and I'm just like, how? It's a completely separate platform.
I was gonna say PlayStation has their own version of it, I believe.
I was like, what the fuck, bro? But this whole Call of Duty thing, it's complete bullshit. Like, honestly, Sony are turning around and saying they reckon that it'll become exclusive on Xbox and stuff like that, even though Microsoft has said no, we're not going to do that. Phil Spencer has gone and turned around and said that they're open to keep it as, like, you know, they have, like, on Sony on PlayStation, they usually have like a week early access of Call of Duty when it first loads. Phil Spencer said that wouldn't ever be affected by the deal. And yet Sony are going, well, we're scared that you're going to do it. And it's like, he's publicly said he's not going to change that. What the fuck?
But when has somebody, you know, in the big boy world ever, you know, said something and then gone against their word before publicly?
But this is the thing. Phil Spencer, he's one of those people that he is for gamers. He is always, everything that he's done for Xbox has always been for us as gamers. He's never ever gone and taken the route of, I'm purchasing this company to basically fuck over people. Like there was a not quote, what's the word on statement that he published a while back where that actually says Phil Spencer is for cross-platform gaming. He was one of the heavy pushers of Microsoft and Mojang working on getting Minecraft to be working on PlayStation, on Switch, so that you could play across different platforms. He was one of the people that pushed forward for a lot of other games to start going to this whole thing of being able to play over different platforms. So being able to take someone who's on PlayStation, someone who's on Xbox, and play together, taking PC players and mixing them in with the console community. He was one of the people that wanted to push that forward, because he wants to unite gamers. He doesn't want to keep them separate.
It's Sony that was against the the going for all cross-plat.
Well, this is the thing. It's like they will go back with the Minecraft thing. Minecraft, when that was announced that they were moving over to Bedrock and stuff like that, there was a big stir in the community, because obviously Sony didn't want Microsoft products on their platform, and they were even reluctant for Microsoft to be buying Mojang because of the fact that Minecraft was on the PlayStation. And anyway, that deal all went through, but then when it moved to Bedrock, and it was a case of you had to sign in with an Xbox Live account to be able to do the cross-platform thing, Sony were just like, well, no, why should people get to do that? And I'm just like, but bruh, it's like, come on. Neon says, Sony is about the money, Microsoft is about the community. And Redneck just put in the chat, Microsoft is also about money, but they realize that by opening it up to more markets, then it can make them more. Yeah, but they still focus heavily on... The thing is, it's like, with Sony, they focus more on the exclusives because they know it's going to bring people to the platform, whereas Microsoft are like, okay, we believe in the community and stuff like that, but we know we still need to make money off of this shit. Why don't we just open it up all to other platforms? Because then it brings us more money in the long run, but it also makes the community happy, which means the community are going to buy more games.
I mean, I'll be honest, exclusives I don't like. There were a lot of games.
Well, it's taken us so many years. I mean, we've only just gotten Last of Us on PC, like in the last week.
I mean, look at the Halo series.
Finally.
Look at the Halo series. Halo 1 was released for Xbox, PC. I don't think PlayStation got it. They might have. I don't remember on the Halo 1.
Halo 2
Sony
was
never exclusively Xbox.
Sony never ever put Halo on the PlayStation.
Yeah. Halo 2 was almost exclusively Xbox. They kind of, after the fact, put it out for PC, but it was restricted to like only this one operating system could effectively run it. If you have anything older, screw you, you're out of luck. Which is why I was never able to get it, because they put it on Vista for some reason. And then after that, it was like exclusively all Halo was Xbox. So as someone without an Xbox, I could never play the games. It wasn't until they brought out the Master Chief Collection that I was ever able to actually play these games that I never had access to before.
Yeah, it's like look at just games in general. Like, yeah, sure, Microsoft have pushed down the route of making things cross-platform and better for the community, but the way that they've done it is they've done it so that you can only use it on a Windows PC, which is fair because most gamers play on a PC using Windows. Not many people are playing on a Mac or on Linux machines, so it makes sense to use the Xbox app to be able to get these games. But the important thing there really was the whole cross save and things like that, so you could play across different devices, keep your saves, and be able to do things like that. And the fact that they brought Halo to the PC through that was great. But what makes it even better now is Microsoft are starting to offer their games through platforms like Steam, through Epic as well. They're not just restricting it just to the Xbox store now. And yet you look at Sony, well, what was it? I think it was the first God of War we ended up getting on PC about 2 years ago. We've only just gotten The Last of Us Part 1 in the last week. The what was it? The Spider-Man game. I can't remember which one what it was. It wasn't the Miles Morales one. It was one of the newer ones. That one the studio made for PC as well. But aside from that, name me any other Sony exclusive game that you can play on PC.
I mean, that's why I don't like exclusives.
And yet, with Microsoft, a lot of even Microsoft's exclusives for Xbox you can play on PC now. Even though they're still Microsoft exclusive.
I mean, that just means you get the Xbox app. I mean, if Sony did that, you had to get the Sony PlayStation app for PC. Cool. You get the free app. You can now play all your PlayStation Sony games on a PC. Cool. Do it.
The thing is,
that means they'd also have to follow in the exact footsteps of Microsoft, which they're not going to want to do.
The thing is, this is the other thing that really is sort of disrupting Sony's growth in terms of the games that they produce and things like that. Because if you wanted to play a PlayStation game on your PC, you have to stream it from a PlayStation. So you still have to own PlayStation hardware. But if you are an Xbox gamer, you can, if you've got an Xbox, yeah, you can stream the Xbox gameplay, blah, blah, blah. But if you've got a powerful enough PC, you can play it directly on the PC. Or if you subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, not an ad, by the way, you can use their Xbox cloud gaming feature. And as long as the game's on Game Pass, you can play it. Like, it's no issue. I know Sony have only just started doing their cloud gaming, their cloud streaming service now through PlayStation Plus. But even then, I think that's restricted to Sony's consoles, to the PlayStations. But I think you can only use it through your phone as well as a secondary. I don't even think you can do it on your PC at the minute. So it is really limiting it because more and more people are starting to get PCs to play games on. So why not have the option to be able to play your PlayStation games on PC as well? Even if it is via cloud streaming. I
recently switched over from Xbox to PC just in the last 2 months.
It was like, we'll take APOC as a prime example. APOC used to be console exclusive. He used to only play on Xbox, and on the odd occasion he'd play on PlayStation as well. But then sort of, what was it? I think it was like 2016. He got his first PC, and that's been it. He's been playing solely on PC. It's really only been playing on PlayStation for like the PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah, I've only ever played console games now, really, when it's been
And
games
your
that have only
Xbox
ever
is
been
only
out.
used for like YouTube.
I don't I don't I can't remember the last time I turned my Xbox on, but yeah, my Xbox became just my entertainment system. So yeah, it was only for YouTube, or if I wanted to load up Netflix or whatever when I'm laid in bed. But yeah, the PlayStation, it got used when I bought it for The Last of Us Part 2, and then it got used when I played God
The
of War.
original God of War, and now you're doing the Ragnarok.
Yeah, but not the original God of War. The new God of War is in the remake, not the remake, but the original God of War would have been like the originals when Kratos was going through killing all the Greek gods. Now he's going
The
through the
first one that
Norse.
was released for PlayStation 4.
Yes, there
Yeah.
you go. And then now I'm currently playing Ragnarok. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it's an interesting. I just looked up sales comparisons before saying that PS the Sony are basically crippling themselves because they won't move with the times and everything.
Yes, they've sold more consoles, but it's because of the exclusivities. That's the prime reason why they sell more consoles than Microsoft.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I would have expected it to slowly become a point where, maybe Sony sold more, but throughout, as we got more to modern, it would have become Xbox. But no, it was the only time that they sold nearly the same amount was with the PS3 and the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 sold 8.5 million, and the PS3 sold 87.4 million. Sorry.
Well, we'll take the two the Xbox versus Microsoft argument here, and it's like when you look at it like on paper, yes, Sony have sold more consoles over the years, but the thing is, Microsoft's consoles have been built to last multiple generations.
Yeah.
It's like, if you want to discard the Sony on the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 1, because yes, the PlayStation 2 could play PlayStation 1 games, that's basically being it. But the PlayStation 3, when that first launched, you could play PS2 and PS1 titles on it, absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Then they released a firmware update for the original PlayStation 3 that stopped that. And then there's PlayStation 3 Slim, and the PlayStation 3 Super Slim had none of that functionality. The PS4 had none of that functionality until a bit later on when they did the whole PS Now thing, where that was an emulated version, and it was like 5 or 6 games when it first opened. But then you compare that to Microsoft, where the Xbox 360 could play every single original Xbox game from the disc.
They're all backwards compatible.
And even then, moving to the Xbox One, yes, they stopped originally all of the Xbox and Xbox 360 titles from being played on the Xbox One. But the reason for that was because they didn't get emulation right on it. They were working on it. So, and then it wasn't until later that it was like 200-300 games that you could then play that were on Xbox and Xbox 360. And it's like, even now with the next generation, with the PS5 and with the Xbox Series consoles, the Xbox Series S and Series X, every single title you can play on the Series X and Series S, you can also play on an Xbox One. There are fuck all games that you can do that with on the PS4, on the PS5.
Yeah, like it literally
You've got a handful.
It literally says on my Ragnarok game thingy case, that's the word I'm looking for. It says if I can upgrade it for a PS5 copy and get a discount, but it obviously can't be played on a PS5. If I got a PS5 and I wanted to play it on a PS5, I'd have to get a PS5 version. It's not backwards compatible as it should be.
This is one of the things that really annoyed me about Sony. So with Microsoft, every single game was built with backwards compatibility built in. Whether you're on a Series S and you're trying to run an Xbox One title, it would just work. Whereas with Sony, yes, I did make a mess up on my commenter saying no PlayStation 4 title will play on a PS5. I did make a mistake there. You can play some PS4 titles on a PS5, but the developer has to create a specific version of it for it. This is why some games like Genshin Impact, etc., will work on it perfectly fine. But if you've got a title like the original God of War that Jordan played on the PS4, it wouldn't work as well unless the God of War developers decided to make a PS4/5 version, which you could then run. But it had to have a PS4/5 version made of it in order to be able to, you get what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, you have to make the thing.
It was all down on the developers rather than it just working, and it really annoys me. Plus, the Xbox Series X doesn't have liquid metal problems like the PS5 has. Shade. The liquid metal problems, it's primarily because the Xbox Series X doesn't use liquid metal to on the CPU die. It uses standard thermal paste. The PS5 uses it because they've got a less advanced cooling system than the Xbox. This is why the Xbox Series X, etc., are quieter than any of the Sony consoles have ever been. Because if you've ever turned on a PS4, Jordan can attest to this, it sounds like a little fucking jet taking off.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless your name is called Gabs and you have an old Xbox little small white boy, which is like probably like 12 years old.
That
and
probably just needs cleaning, though, to be fair.
I know. It's probably just because it's never been cleaned in its life properly. So yeah, whenever she turns it on, it's jet engine from the second it turns on until the second it turns off.
The thing is, in my opinion, Xboxes have always been designed with better coolers because, yes, the original Xbox One was much, much larger than the PlayStation 4. But the Xbox, but literally half of the size of half of the sides of an Xbox One was literally cooling. It literally had a fan that drew air in from the side, expelled it out the top. That is how it worked. The PS4, on the other hand, had two little tiny fans mounted in the back of it that had to blow it.
Itty bitty.
Because Microsoft see that cooling is important in gaming. Sony just like to make sure that their consoles look nice. And yet they still ended up releasing a fucking PS5 that ended up looking like a fucking router.
I was going to say, they say you say they want to make the consoles look nice. But I was going to say, but have you seen the PS5?
To be fair, the PS5, it looks nice. Don't get me wrong, it looks nice, and I do love the attention to detail, like with the fact that you've got the crosses, the squares, the triangles, and the circles, like as little tiny versions of them all around it, sort of like embossed on it. It does look cool, but it's like
I don't like it. I don't like it. Like my PS4, it looks really good. The design of it, I think it really looks sleek and really looks sexy. But the PS5, I don't like.
Oh yeah, because you got the PS4 Pro, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 tiers. It does look nice. With the PS4, it looked great. But the PS5, I'll be honest with you, I can't see how they're going to be doing a slim version of the PS5.
No.
Like, unless they just make it a little smaller. But then, if you make it a little smaller, you're going to end up having different cooling on it, which means you're going to end up with loud noise. Sony, please. Neon says also there's filters for the Xbox Series X. I have to pull the console apart to get to. That's the same with any of the consoles. All of the cooling systems you have to pull the console apart to get to. It's like if you want to clean an Xbox One S or an Xbox Series S open, you actually have to take it apart to be able to get to any of the cooling. It's the same with a PS5. You have to take it apart. Although to Sony's credit, the fact that you can just open the side panel off. Just literally take one of the side panels off and then you've got straight access to the M.2 slot to expand your storage is great, but I prefer Microsoft's system of just literally a card that you just plug in the back. I hate that you have to buy proprietary cards. I do hate that. And you can't just buy a bog standard M.2 SSD to put into it, but it's just the ease of use for the customer. I think Redneck's dozing off.
Yeah.
Maybe a little.
Go to sleep, little red. Go to sleep, oh, redneck.
Don't tempt me. When I got home, I was about to go take a nap when you posted. It's like, hey, I'm able to get on. And it's like, oh, so much for a nap.
I don't want to fuck up my Xbox when I have to clean the filters. You don't need to clean... Neon, the thing is, with the Xbox is you don't need to clean the filters as often as what people keep on saying. The thing is, you don't have to worry that much. With a console, they're built to be able to rerun for a long period of time without being cleaned.
Yeah, they're...
Take Gabs' Xbox as a prime example.
Right.
I'm going to say, she's testing that out to the max.
She needs to clean it. Right, anyway, do you want to get to that Polygon thing quickly?
How are we on time, by the way?
How are we on time? We're 1 hour 23 in.
Okay.
So yeah, so the more up to date one, this one was released on the 28th of March. Where I don't know when the other one was released because I've closed the page now, but Costin posted it on the 14th, so it was at least posted then. So this one's more of an up to date. Saying it talks about some countries that have like gone approved for this. So one of the big ones being Japan. They've approved for the acquisition on Tuesday, the 28th of March. The Japan Fair Trade Commission became the last international regulator to agree to the deal. It said it had reached the conclusion that the transaction is unlikely to result in substantially restraining competition in any particular fields of trade. So currently, the list of all countries that have approved for Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard so far is Japan, Chile, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, and Serbia. Is that how you pronounce that one?
Yeah,
Serbia. Which is interesting because Serbia is in Europe.
Yeah. So we've got at least a European country that's okay with it. It's just the European Union.
Yeah, it's also interesting because Japan is where Sony's main headquarters, I believe, is located. No, wait, no, that's Nintendo. I don't know where Sony's main headquarters is.
I can actually check that. No, they are Japan as well.
Sony, so it's kind of interesting that they're still balking at it, but their home countries
they're headquartered in Minato, Tokyo, Japan.
So yeah, I still find it interesting. They're still not happy about it, but their home country is like, yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah,
it will not cause problems. It's like,
Yeah, so it goes on about Microsoft is attempting to persuade regulators around the world to clear its $68.7 billion acquisition to Activision Blizzard, the biggest deal of its kind the gaming industry has ever seen, blah, blah, blah. We've already covered that bit. Amid concerns about its effects of competition in the industry and force of the ardent lobbying against the deal by competitor Sony. So there we go. We mentioned about, Sony just being little bitches about it. The US Federal Trade Commission said it will attempt to block the deal legally, while the UK's Competition and Markets Authority have also expressed speculation. So the US are like, no, and the UK are like, we don't know. So US will like, yeah, if you go with this Microsoft, we're going to come to your base and treat you like a school.
Do you want to skip down to the Microsoft pushes hard at EU meeting?
Pushes hard at EU meeting. Converts Nvidia, but Sony won't budge. So Nvidia budged, but Sony are like, nah, our feet are in the ground. Microsoft used every means of its disposal on Tuesday, February the 21st, to push its acquisition of Activision Blizzard forward. It announced it had signed a deal with Nvidia to make Xbox PC games, including Activision Blizzard titles like Call of Duty, available on GeForce Now cloud gaming service.
Which, by the way, if you haven't checked out our episode on cloud streaming services, we'll put a card somewhere that you can click on. Maybe if you're on YouTube,
maybe
or if
here.
not, just go check out our.
Maybe here.
Just go check out our YouTube channel. It'll be there. Don't worry.
Like GT did mention in the chat a bit earlier, cloud gaming sucks ass though. It needs work.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So this is the first step for Microsoft to take action to claim regulators' concerns about the establishing a stranglehold. What the fuck is a stranglehold?
That's when you're got a grip on somebody and you're strangling the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Like a chokehold.
A chokehold, okay. A chokehold over the cloud gaming market as opposed to the availability of Call of Duty on rival consoles.
So just to explain a little bit there, just for anybody who didn't know, one of Sony's main issues with Microsoft is they think that they are dominating and effectively creating a monopoly in the cloud gaming market because of Xbox game cloud gaming. It is so wrong because there are so many different alternatives that you can use, much less now that that Google have closed down Stadia. Yay. But the problem is Sony just do not like the fact that Microsoft seemingly have a stranglehold, if you will, on the whole cloud gaming space, because they seem to be dominating it. The reason why they seem to be dominating it is because they came out with the technology first. That's basically
you snooze, you lose.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Sony only started doing the whole game, the whole streaming thing in the last sort of 2 years, whereas Microsoft has had like a 5-year head start on it. Like, of course, they're going to have much higher, a much higher subscriber base, considering they've been doing it for longer. It makes sense.
The EU did push back its deadline to rule on the deal to April 25th, so they've pushed it back, and we probably won't see an actual answer to this till late next month, maybe the end of next month.
What is interesting?
It's also kind of interesting that Sony was offered the same deal Nintendo was, which was a 10-year licensing.
We were actually going to get onto that in a moment. I think that was the next part in the
well, that's the thing, right, Jordan? That was offered last year, or not last year, or last month. I think we touched on that last month that was being offered to Sony.
Oh yeah.
Nintendo, because this article covers stuff from the last 2-3 months.
Do you want me to give your vocal cords a break for a bit, Jordan? Do you want me to read the next section?
I don't mind reading the next section. I was about to go on to it, but I was letting you guys, have your little input first.
It's up to you. I can read it if you want.
Nah, a good place I was going with it.
Okay, go.
Don't ruin my joke. I've got a good joke. You guys will slap your knees at how funny it is.
Oh God, I better slap my knee. If I do not slap my knee, I am disappointed in you. Go.
Uh-oh.
So the next part just goes on about Microsoft also attended a meeting with the European Union in a tiny little Brussels sprout.
I'm slapping my knee.
Good. I heard the little in Brussels, which is in Belgium, at which competitors, including Sony, were present. So I'm sure there was some knee slapping there, but not in the ha-ha way. I'm gonna fuck your mother way. Anyway. Media were then summoned to a press conference
Alabama.
where Microsoft Vice Chair and President Brad Smith passionately made the case for the deal. You can get a good sense of this event from Eurogamer's report. So, there's a link there that I'm sure we'll put in chat if you want to, not in chat, in a description on the YouTube if you want to see more about that, how that went. Smith rammed home Sony's dominance in the console market, categorizing the split in global marketing share between Sony and Xbox as 70-30. They're just trying to be like, hey, we sell more consoles than you, suck a dick. But there's more to it than just sales.
Jordan, you can feel free to skip down to the Nintendo deal if you want.
Nintendo deal. What's it labeled as?
Microsoft finalizes deal to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo for 10 years.
Oh, literally the next bit if you skip just
literally in big fucking bold letters.
Yeah, I scrolled past it when you said about the 10 years. So Microsoft finalizes deal to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo for 10 years, and then you're never going to get it on Microsoft again. No. Microsoft confirms that it has signed a binding 10-year legal agreement to put Call of Duty on Nintendo platforms on the same day as Xbox. So, they're technically, not keeping the whole... Well, no, that was Sony. Sony was worried about their stuff going. No, we're full features and content... I can't say that word apparently. Parity. Microsoft Vice Chair and President Brad Smith announced the deal on Twitter of all places. I'm sure Elon Musk loved that. He said, we are committed to providing long-term equal access to Call of Duty to other gaming platforms, bringing more choice to more players and more competition to the gaming market. Smith's statement read his wordings and agreement itself and clearly aimed at regulators deliberating over Microsoft's proposed acquisition to Activision Microsoft. Among them, the accessibility of Call of Duty to other platforms has been seen as a key issue. The deal will bring Call of Duty back to Nintendo consoles for the first time since 2013.
Which was when Black Ops was released on the Wii.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that used to be where that's actually where I first started playing fucking Call of Duty was on the Nintendo Wii. The first one I played was World at War. I don't think I ever played a Black Ops one. So the contract was announced in December alongside a similar offer to Steam at the time. Valve's boss Gabe Newell, all hell Gabe.
Yes, Gaben, we love you, bro.
saying his trust in Microsoft and its gaming chief Phil Spencer was so deep a wink that such a contract wasn't necessary, and he believed it was in Microsoft's interest to keep Call of Duty widely available anyway. Microsoft says it has made the same offer to Sony, but the PlayStation platform holder is presumably holding out, preferring to plead with regulators to kill the deal entirely.
Because fuck you, I guess.
Yeah, because they're just basically like, just taking a shit on Xbox's on Microsoft's doorstep.
I'm actually interested to see how they're going to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo, because obviously with the older style consoles and stuff like that, it was great because they didn't really have to rewrite it, because consoles at that time, they were about similar performance. Like the Wii was actually on a similar performance tier to like the Xbox 360 and like the PlayStation 3 at the time. Like it was actually on a similar level. But now when you look at the Switch is so much more underpowered compared to the PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 4, and even Xbox's offerings. Like it's very different.
Which is to be expected. It's a handheld console. So
it's a handheld system versus.
So it's like, how are they going to bring it? The only way that I could see them bringing it is if they decided to use like Xbox Cloud Gaming. Or if they decided to use the cloud stuff that Nintendo decided to do.
Well, I mean, you can play Fortnite on a Nintendo Switch. How do they implement that? So you could play Fortnite on a Nintendo Switch while still, people playing on an Xbox, on a PlayStation, on a PC.
Does have a point there.
Because physics, no. Fuck you. That's why no.
Technology.
Well, it's the same aspect, really. No, it's the same aspect. It's the same sort of game.
Because Fortnite doesn't have any. When you compare Fortnite to Call of Duty, for example, Call of Duty has a lot more complex textures, a lot more complex scenes that it's got to render out, and in Fortnite they're a lot less complicated. The things that they do on the Switch is they bring down things like grass details and stuff like that. I'm not being funny, but you could run Fortnite on my old potato PC that was running an FX 4100 and a fucking GTX 670. Like you could run Fortnite. Yeah. You could run Fortnite on that on low settings, but you couldn't run War. I can guarantee you couldn't run Warzone or fucking Modern Warfare 2 at the lowest settings on my old potato PC.
I mean, I'm assuming it wouldn't. It would be a little different to how I'm going to say, because obviously this isn't a good comparison, because you can't, obviously play PUBG Mobile with people playing on a PC, but I assume it would be similar aspect to how they've put PUBG Mobile together, Apex Mobile together, Fortnite Mobile. I don't know if Fortnite Mobile's together, but all these battle royales are also on mobile, so they'll just have to lower the resolution.
But this is where things are different. Like so Fortnite's completely different. Fortnite was put on the mobile the same way that it was put on the Switch. Textures were lowered. It doesn't need to be as complicated to run that. But with games like PUBG, Apex, etc., they were rewritten from the ground up specifically for mobile. They weren't just ports of the original game. They were rewritten. Okay. It's like PUBG on mobile. If you notice, the inventory system, the maps are all the same, but the inventory system is completely different. The way that the mechanics work behind the background is different. Like even the graphics settings, you will find that even at low settings on PC, looks way better than what it does on even higher settings on mobile on PUBG Mobile.
Well, obviously. I was assuming it would be, like I said, I don't know the whole mechanics of making games and porting them and blah blah blah, but I assumed it would be a similar way. Obviously, like I said, it's going to be different because you're not playing against PC players on PUBG when you're playing on mobile. Where if they integrated, obviously Call of Duty to Nintendo Switch, you've got to think about, well, they're going to be playing with people against people that are playing on console and on PC. So I imagine there'll be some similarities, but they'd have to do some difference to make it work so it still functions. Which,
I have a feeling most likely what will happen is Hitman got this. I can't remember of any other games, but Hitman on the Switch, basically they had this way that you could actually play Hitman at like full settings or whatever on your Switch, but it's streamed from like Nintendo servers, so it was like cloud gaming the cloud streaming.
Yeah, they might go with that method.
So they might go with that, so it goes through the Nintendo servers. But the other alternative is when you launch the game, it will just automatically connect to like Xbox Cloud Gaming or whatever. Like I could see it happening down that route. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that would work. There you go.
But I wouldn't count on Call of Duty being running natively on Nintendo Switch hardware.
No. I mean, other than you have to take consideration as well, like the whole, like, you know, even games that are made for a Switch aren't performing well because of, you know, the limitations of the Switch. Like, you go back to when Scarlet and Violet came out, and it was all buggy and laggy and graphical glitches and everything. And there's like people were like, you know, people who actually knew what they were talking about were looking at, you know, the hardware compared to the software, and like it's not the game's issue. It's the fact that the Nintendo Switch, the console itself, the hardware just isn't, you know, powerful enough to be able to handle this game as intended. The software is fine. Like, maybe, yeah, there's some glitches and some bugs in there that have to do with the software, because, you know, all games have them as much as they're tested.
The problem with the Switch as well is you probably found it with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet more recently.
I haven't played it in months,
the problem with the
sure.
Switch is you have to create sort of 2 profiles for each game that you make, because you've got to have one that runs at 720p that's native to the Switch's built-in screen, but then you need to make a profile that will run at 1080p for when it's in docked mode. If you don't do that, you find that performance suffers because the game will try and render it in docked mode, even though you're in handheld mode.
Well, you see, I don't have that problem because my dock is just a oversized charger. I've literally never played my Switch in docked mode. It's not even attached to anything to be able to do it in docked mode. I always take it out and hold it in front of me.
Typically, I've got my dock behind my monitors, so it's plugged into one of my monitors. But I've noticed that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet runs way better when it's in docked mode because it's got, effectively, the best way of explaining it is the dock itself has like a miniature GPU accelerator built into it, so it means that it can push 1080p, a higher resolution, a lot better. But obviously, when you undock it, you haven't got that accelerator working, so you've kind of either got to build 2 separate profiles for it, or you've got to either suffer performance issues or render it at a lower resolution even when it's docked. And I can guarantee you, a majority of people that are going to be playing Call of Duty on the Switch aren't going to be playing with it undocked. They're going to be playing it with it docked. Most of them are going to be playing with it on a TV because they're playing with a family friend or something.
Yeah. The only time they'll be playing it undocked is if they were wanting to, drop into whatever the map's called now for the new Warzone.
I don't think Warzone. I don't think Warzone will come to the Switch. This is just Call of Duty titles, so it'll be whatever the next one is. So it'll be like Modern Warfare 2's dropping, so you can play the campaign and probably do some online multiplayer.
Okay. Well, we'll drop it into whatever one of the multiplayer maps is called. Whatever we'll just say Shipment is going to be in it because Shipment's always fucking there, or Rust. There'll be the only time they'll be wanting to they'll be playing it not docked is when they're on the bus, on the train, on the plane, whatever, doing the traveling. And they're like, fuck it, let's I want to drop into a game of Rust, game of Shipment, and just have a bad time.
I hate to be a stickler. We're going to have to cut some of our other topics out on the pure base circle. We're running out of time.
Of course.
But just to cover some of the topics that I'm going to cut out, because then you guys can remove it. The first one, the Olympics have announced their eSports games. It's not really anything truly impressive. It is literally... here you go. The initially confirmed featured games for eSports across 9 sports titles. Bearing in mind, most of these are on mobile phones. They're not even on anything like Xbox or even PC, which begs the question, is it really eSports? So we got archery. You play for the and the World Archery Federation have agreed that you can play tic-tac-bow. Baseball. You'll be playing WBSC eBaseball Power Pros on mobile. You'll be playing chess. This one's the only one that isn't specific to mobile. This is chess.com. Cycling, you'll be using Zwift.
Makes sense.
Dance will be just Dance. For motorsport, bizarrely, they've decided to go for Gran Turismo. I'm actually surprised. I thought they would have gone for Forza Motorsport. I'll be honest with you. Sailing, they're going
F1.
virtual regatta. Taekwondo, virtual taekwondo. And tennis is Tennis Clash. The hilarious ones is the hilarious news here is that all of the ones that are being played on mobile, for example, archery, baseball, tennis, taekwondo, and sailing, all of the applications they are being used is by a partner of a Japanese corporation that the MIOC have worked with.
You see, they're missing a thing here where they could just make this so much easier on themselves. Just make the eSports Olympics for Wii Sports. It's already sporting and all 9 out of 10 those.
Well, they released
games
they released Switch
are already going to
Sports.
be in the sport.
They literally released Nintendo Sports on the fucking Switch not long ago, like at the beginning of the year. They could have used that.
They had the Wii Sports literally as a thing back during the original Wii, so.
I think the problem with the whole Wii thing is trying to get every single competitor to make sure that they've got a Wii console, to make sure that they've got a Wii console, and yeah. Because the problem is the Wii, because it's not a current console or it's not a current device that anybody really uses, there's not a lot in terms of maneuverability of if a system stops working, can it be easily repaired? Well, probably not, because we can't find the parts.
Well, don't make it a virtual event, then make it a physical event like every other part of the Olympics. You actually have to show up at the stadium to go to participate.
Oh, no. So these esports titles are going to be played during the main Olympics.
Well, then they just supply the Wiis then.
Exactly. But it's also about training the stuff, training people as well like that. I think that's the main issue.
I'm pretty sure at some point in these gamers' lives, they would have whacked out the Wii remote and done some Wii boxing and some Wii tennis.
But it's
I think we've all played at least once.
Looking at things like motorsport with Gran Turismo, okay? Number one, when the fuck has motorsport ever been a fucking thing in the Olympics? When has it ever been a thing in the Olympics? Why do we need it as an esport title?
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but when has chess and dance ever been? I don't pay attention to the Olympics, so again, tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay, chess, fair enough. But chess, fair enough. I understand your argument on that. But dance is just the same as something like rhythmic gymnastics or something like that.
I mean, I figured you was going to say that, but like, isn't there still technically a difference? Like, there's more it's an actual gymnastics thing with rhythm gymnastics, where dance is just you dancing.
But with rhythmic gymnastics, it is effectively a form of dance. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's like they're looking for effective replacements, and it's ridiculous.
But you don't have to be doing your flips and your 360s and your 489, ollies in the air when you're doing the dance. Where with rhythmic gymnastics, you do. So I get where you're coming from. I'm not displaying your argument, but there's still a difference.
Trying to move on quickly. So yeah, that was the esports series. The next one is Meta cuts prices on the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro VR headsets. Basically, Meta lowered the prices of their two headsets. The Oculus Quest 2, which was released so many years ago, we didn't know whether we were going to get an Oculus Quest 3, blah, blah, blah. But basically, the 256 gig Quest 2 will drop to $430. I can't remember what the original price is, blah, blah, blah. But the Meta Quest Pro, which is the interesting one, because that was only released in less than a year ago. The original price is $1,500 or £1,500 last October. So yeah, about 6 months ago. And it's nearing its half anniversary. It got a temporary price drop to $1,100 earlier this year, and it will further drop to $1,000 later. It's ridiculous. Probably shouldn't have priced your fucking VR headsets that highly, Meta. Let's face it. You're only lowering the prices because you know nobody's buying them.
Pretty much.
You lizard.
I'm not being funny, but there's so many better alternatives. Like, sure, the Quest series is completely different because the Quest series it's actually a standalone product. Like the fact that you have a standalone headset that you can just use, or you can then USB-C it to your computer, is a great idea. But most other headsets don't actually offer that ability. Most of them need a DisplayPort or HDMI connection to the headset, so you're still tethered to your PC. But the Quest also has the ability to be wireless as well from your PC, so you can still transmit all the data from your headset and your controllers to and from the PC, which is actually pretty cool wirelessly. The Quest Pro, just a ridiculous product. Absolutely ridiculous product. You could get something way cheaper for that was just better built. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, moving on from that, we'll do the Ring one, because I know Redneck might have something to say about that one because he owns a Ring product.
I actually do, but I did not pay for it. I will say that.
That is completely fair. YouTubers changed their monetization policy to allow profanity. I heard Jordan earlier in the pre-show go, "I don't care about that." You will care about it because it affects our channel over on there.
It allows it, so fuck cunt shit.
Basically, effective March 7th, they've made the changes to their ad-friendly guidelines. So the usage of moderate profanity at any time in the video is now eligible for a green icon, which basically means it's allowed full monetization. Usage of stronger profanity, such as cunt. Yeah, I tried to get that in as quick as I could, but yeah. It does say here usage of stronger profanity like the in the and in the first 7 seconds or repeatedly throughout the majority of the video can now receive limited ads. Under the November update, this would have received no ad revenue. Video content using profanity, moderate, or strong after the first 7 seconds will now be eligible for green icons unless used repeatedly throughout the majority of the video. Which means, I'm sorry to say this, Jordan, but in your Warzone clips where you're going and just constantly fucking going like that.
But let me ask you a very, very, very good question for both what you're saying right now and what you said earlier about how it affects our videos.
Okay.
Are we at any point near where we can be monetized and receive money for
not right now
videos? Exactly.
But it will affect these videos that we're posting now in the future.
And am I uploading my videos, or was I uploading my videos on YouTube with the idea of making money out of them?
Possibly. No. I don't know your mind.
No, I was not. And I wouldn't.
I love that, Gabs. His Warzone clips are going to basically be Morse code.
Literally, it would just be beep, 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 beep. Well, sorry,
more likely it'll just be saying something and then silence, saying something, silence.
But the thing is, like I said, I'm not trying to get them monetized because I'm not trying to go for being a YouTuber. I'm not trying to look to get any money off YouTube. They're just posted there so anybody who isn't seeing them on Twitch can see them on YouTube.
I mean, it'll affect you in the sense of the podcast, because when we eventually do decide to start with the monetization of the videos and stuff like that, it'll affect the monetization that we'll get from those videos in the future.
Yeah, and that's when I use my censor button as well, my little beat button. As of right now, what Costin's doing, is a little censor button. It's a Stream Deck thing.
It's not a Stream Deck thing. It's on my Go XLR.
Whatever. I can still have it on my Stream Deck if I wanted to.
Yeah, of course you can.
But as of right now, we are not monetized, so I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Oh, fuck, I didn't. Oh, wait, no. We also clarified our guidance on how profanity in music is treated. Moderate or strong profanity used in background music, backing tracks, intro, outro music can still earn full ad revenue. Previously, this would have received no ad revenue. Use of any profanity, moderate or strong profanity in titles and thumbnails will still be demonetized and cannot run ads, as was the case before the update in November. Yeah, so that's basically it for that. Next, quick hit topic. Discord has plugged AI into its Clyde chatbot, basically allowing people to use ChatGPT and other AI developments in the future directly in Discord using Clyde. That's all we're going to add on that. I'm not really going to talk about it because we could go on forever, and I think we're probably going to do an episode directly just for AI at some point because there is a lot we could cover.
Yeah. We may have to get see if we can talk Neon into showing up for that one.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Another quick fire topic, because I want to do only one last major topic that we'll cover, and we'll do the Ring doorbell as the final topic of the episode, because we are approaching that 2-hour mark at the moment.
I mean, we're probably just going to do a fast recap of all of it.
A little bit over the 2-hour marker.
No, that's the stream. I'm on about the actual episode that's going live.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Everything. Yeah, of course. We had about half an hour of the the
shenanigans.
The shenanigans that we're not going to mention because you had to be here on Twitch to know what happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're watching us on YouTube, you missed out.
Meta exploring a new social network that could compete with Twitter. Meta is exploring a decentralized text-based social network that can compete with Elon Musk's Twitter. The move could help Meta attract some of the Twitter users who are looking for alternatives after Musk took over and changed some of the SAT rules. The project is being led by Instagram head Adam Mosseri, platformer said. Basically, what's happening is the creators of Facebook are creating a less shit version of Facebook. That's effectively all I'm reading here.
That's their intent, is to make a better, less shitty Facebook. We'll see if that actually works or not. There's a lot of people who've said, we're going to make a better version of Twitter. We're going to make a new version of Twitter. And then it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's great fun. But now on to our final main topic of the evening. Redneck has probably got a few things to say here because he's actually used the products. I have used them, but I don't really use them in my daily driving. We got some shit to say about Ring.
So I'm going to try to keep this one kind of quick, because we are running a little short on time. So Ring, known mostly for their video doorbells, but they also have a lot of other products such as like security cameras, internal, external cameras, doorbells.
They make cameras.
They're mainly just a camera company for cameras in and around the house.
Do you say scammers?
They're mostly known for the doorbells.
Sounded like you said they make them for scammers, and I was like, no, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Well, Ring has announced, and this was a recent announcement, like 3 weeks ago almost, but it went live 2 days ago, where Ring is paywalling some of their services. Now, they already had some of their services paywalled, so this is not a new change. They're just putting more stuff behind the paywall subscription. So if you have a Ring product, you can still use it for the basic stuff like live view, the two-way talk, motion detection and alert, which you may or may not have heard mine go off because somebody was at my door and I ignored it. Where they can ring the doorbell, it will alert your phone, making a sound effect, which you can then open the app, open the camera, and see who the hell it is, and then you can actually talk to them from your phone without even being home. Not bad. I actually like that free version because I'm a little paranoid. That way I know who the hell's at my door. But if you want it to record anything, you have to pay the subscription fee, which I do not like because they don't have a way to because you have to host it to their cloud. You can't actually do it locally. You can't store it to your own server, a local hard drive. You have to use their cloud system, which I don't like. But they are adding more stuff to their paywall, which was as of the 29th, 2 days ago. You will need the subscription to access the home and the away modes. So their home mode and away mode, I think, is still a little much. Because I don't quite know why in the hell you'd even want all this stuff in the first place, but some people are weird. So the home mode, you can select when you want your outside cameras or doorbells of your house activated but you want to be able to move freely inside the house without setting off all your alarms. Yes, that's for setting your outside stuff as normal, but all your cameras, motion sensors inside your house will not go off when you're moving around. Now, why some people would wire up a whole lot of security cameras and motion sensors inside the house, like motion sensor in the house, I get. That could be useful for somebody in the house. But in theory, all your motion sensors outside the house would capture anyone breaking in the first place.
Also, can I just specify here as well, in case you weren't paying attention, because I sure as hell wasn't, and I probably missed a lot of stuff, and yeah, I'm getting to that point where I'm tired. My tablets are taking effect now. But this all started hilariously 3 days ago. This all came into effect 3 days ago.
Not even 3 days.
29th.
It was the 29th.
So,
it was
yeah.
Wednesday. Today's Friday.
No, it's 2 days ago.
Yeah. And the away mode is when you set everything to record everything and be like alarm mode activated. Which they're paywalling that. Which the record function was already paywalled in the first place. So, some of that didn't change much, but the rest of it is like, if you don't want your internal security cameras to be going off and alerting you every time you move around your house and they spot you, you have to pay for it. Maybe if you were using Ring at your business, but whatever.
I'm not
They're
being
basically
funny.
paywalling.
If you're using Ring at your
most
business, you clearly are a shit company. Because if you are a company that actually give a shit, you're not going to be relying on Ring for your internal security or even external security. You're going to have a custom bespoke system that's probably from something like Swan or fucking
Now,
who knows.
I will say, that being said, if you're a small business and like you're operating your business out of your garage, you got your equipment in there, okay, that would make sense maybe because you might not be able to afford
Oh
the
yeah,
other
if it's like a homegrown business or something like that, but if you have a dedicated premises for your business,
if you have
even
a
if you're a
dedicated
small
facility
business,
and building, you should have a dedicated security system. I'm sorry. But yeah, they paywalled all of those options. Which, like I said, if you're someone who just has the doorbell so you can keep an eye on who's at the front door, it's not going to change anything for you. Your baseline features are still available. They just paywalled pretty much literally everything else.
oh shit! I should have probably have read the Ring thing.
The email?
No, the webpage that they sent me to.
Reading.
Oh, I am looking at their webpage.
Yeah, if you go down to their frequently asked questions, I bought a Ring alarm before March 29th, 2023. Do I lose access to in-app features that if I activate it after the March 29th, 2023? If you owned a Ring alarm before March 29th, 2023, but don't activate it until after that date, you will still have access to in-app features with or without a subscription for the expected life of the device. So from what it seems like, if you already own the device, it's not affecting you?
It might be going forward for all new products. It's a little bit. I don't think that they're gonna like legacy it, because then they'd have to run like two separate apps almost.
Okay, so I've read a little bit more. So the features that they're updating is arm and disarm digitally, alarm notifications, alarm event history, create home security automations with alarm, and camera home and away modes. It says here, beginning March 29th, 2023, existing and future Ring doorbells and cameras will require a Ring Protect plan subscription to access the home and away modes feature. So only that.
Yeah, some of this is like their full alarm system, though.
Yeah. All I can turn around and say is exactly what I turned around and said about Ford and the car and what we were talking about with BMW and stuff earlier on. If I'm buying a fucking product and I've already bought the product, I should be able to use the services and and everything that is attached to that product for as long as I own that product.
That's why
It should not be changed halfway through.
That's why when I got a batch of security cameras that I got to wire up for my house, I specifically bought ones that did not require a paid subscription to even
it's
be
like
able
our
to
security
use them.
cameras at my house. All of them are all on a local on a local CCTV system. In fact, the only connection that it has to the internet is for remote playback from my phone, so I can so we can check the cameras if we're out. That is literally it. You cannot access any of the admin functionality. You can't access any of the playback features for like recorded content. You can only live view the cameras over the internet. That is literally it.
I don't know the exact details of how mine software-wise on that end goes, but I'm gonna basically wire it into my web server where I can just store the data as needed.
Yeah.
Or I can just set up something locally. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. I just got it.
If you need help
And I
planning,
haven't even installed it yet.
I'll help you plan. But yeah, I think that's about it for the Ring thing, because I think what we turned around and said, what all three of us said about the whole the BMW bullshit with the cars, I think it reflects the exact same thoughts here with the Ring doorbell.
Yep.
If we buy a product, let us use the product. Don't make us pay for anything additional on top of that, whether it's to start with or
features
after.
that come with it.
Like I expressed this in DMs to you, or I think it might have been in the group in the Discord. But in fact, it was in the Discord because we were talking about it because of the thing. I could understand the subscription if it had like 24/7 security monitoring or whatever, but considering its features that you used to get for free, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, they just it's a greed factor. They want more money, so they are paywalling it so they can make more money.
Like the thing is, the recording feature, okay, I understand paying for that because obviously it's being stored on cloud services. You know, it's like buying OneDrive or Google Drive or anything like that to expand your storage on that. You got to pay to have a better service. That's fair enough. You're using a cloud service that you're not maintaining. You're using a service that you're not having to set up. So I understand paying a subscription model for cloud storage of the recordings, but at least offer us a fucking local recordings option.
And that's the thing, most of them do not offer a local option. There is their proprietary cloud only, which I do
it's
not like.
I know I was looking at one of the Ring doorbells. I can't remember which one it was, but it comes with obviously the plug-in the Ring chime, and the Ring chime, it has an SD card on it, and you can actually record directly to the chime if you wish to. But it was specific to that model only, and it was way more expensive because it had local recording capabilities on the chime. And I was like, what the fuck?
I think I remember that one, and it's like double.
Yeah, and I was like, I am not paying double just to be able to record locally. I was like, it's bad enough I've got to buy a subscription service to record off a Ring doorbell. I was like, nah, fuck that. I will just use the normal security cameras to see who's at the door. I don't give a shit about the doorbell at this stage. Who knows? Maybe in the future we'll get a smart doorbell again, but
maybe we'll just be able to get a video doorbell system like what Ring has, but in design that you can do local, cloud, or their software.
Coming soon, a Nerdz Discuss video doorbell.
Where we go around ringing random people's doorbells and see what happens.
No, one thing that I would love to do, I would love to make my own doorbell. The only problem is I haven't got the knowledge.
Is that the one where you push the doorbell and the boxing glove pops out of the wall and punches you in the face?
Yeah. You got it. Anyway, it is that time now where we should finish up today's episode. just briefly cover of what we've discussed in this episode, in case you haven't been paying attention or you've accidentally skipped to the end, in which case, how the fuck did you just accidentally skip to the end of the video? Whatever, you weirdo.
People are weird. I forget what they heard.
We covered VSR video super resolution for web video on Chromium-based browsers for the RTX 30 and 40 series. We covered self-repossessing cars and why they're a fucking bad idea, and then we also spoke a little bit about AI on top of that. Microsoft's buyout of Activision likely to be passed in the EU, and some other stuff regarding that as well. We also very, very briefly covered the eSports games that were announced for the Olympics. Meta cutting the price of their Quest 2 and Quest Pro headsets. YouTube changing their monetization profanity so that we can now say fuck during our podcasts and get monetization if we ever get to that stage. Discord plugging AI into its Clyde chatbot, which is basically its built-in doodad, whatever. And Meta, owner of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, working on basically a less shit version of Facebook, but that could actually compete with Twitter. And also the Ring paywalling existing features behind a subscription model. Redneck, can you come and hurry up back to your chair, because we've got one last little segment that we need to do.
Yeah. Give me a moment.
We need him back. Jordan, have you got an idea for our last little segment?
Sure.
I've got an idea for mine, and I hope that you're thinking the same lines as me, because if you're not, you very, very clearly didn't focus too much on the beginning of the episode. Well, pre-episode.
Does it have to do with all, 20 minutes shenanigan?
Mine is to do with the 20 minutes of fucking around.
Well, we can't have the same one.
But they're technically
well, if it's
different.
going to be in relation to that, then I know what mine is.
Well, I already know what Redneck's is going to be. I'll be very surprised if it's not.
Okay, shall I start?
It's going to be one of two things.
Shall I start,
But I may probably try to keep it with your theme.
Sure, you can
Ladies
start.
and gentlemen, it's now time for our sponsor, not sponsor. Oh, wait, I don't know if that came... Did that come through on the stream? Hold on.
That didn't come through right. It didn't have the fun effect.
It's meant to. I don't know why. It's being quiet.
The reverb's
Am I going to have to re-record it?
Echo, I heard it.
Hold on. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen. Wait for it. It's time for our sponsor, not sponsor.
Wow.
There
I know,
you
right?
go. Wow.
My sponsor, not sponsor, is the wonderful... No. It's there. Noble Chairs. Because can you do this? Wait, where's the lever? There it is. Ah! Oh, wait, what? No. This one doesn't go far as back as the old one.
Haha.
No.
It can't do this.
It can't do it. No.
Sucks for you.
Fuck.
Sucks for you.
Fuck. Anyway, who wants to go next? Redneck, A-Bug, who wants to go next?
Nah, give it to Jordan.
Jordan, who is your sponsor, not sponsor? Fancy.
My sponsor, not sponsor. Sponsor. Because, we're not all fancy like you. Is Clutch Gaming. We're not a pleb, and you have whatever his brand was.
Hey, I bought mine off you. Fuck off.
Technically, you brought it off my ex.
Technically, I bought it off of you.
And just to prove that mine's more superior.
But can it do this?
Mine can do this.
You need to do it like Felix does. I'm sorry, but you need to do it like Felix does.
I'm not breaking my chair.
You need to. I'm sorry, you just need to.
No. Are you going to give me £600 to replace it if it breaks? No, you're not.
I was going to say, Felix can afford it.
I won't, but I know who will.
Not me.
No, I know who will. Our sponsor, not sponsor.
And then over to the Alcatraz that is Redneck.
Yep.
Redneck Alcatraz, who is your sponsor, not sponsor. Oh.
Well, here we go. My sponsor, not sponsor, is Lazy Boy Recliners. When you want an actual reclining chair that you can sleep in.
I mean, I can sleep in mine. Just saying.
I have one. It's in the other room. I did not pay for it.
We need to see it. We need to see it. Look, me and Jordan at least showed ours on stream. You didn't.
Well, that's too bad. Next, if y'all ever come over and visit, you can sit in it.
Well, that's a shame because that just means your sponsor, not sponsor, isn't going to pay you.
You say that like yours is. You didn't even buy yours from the company.
No, I bought mine from Jordan, but Jordan still paid for it.
Yeah, I didn't even technically buy it from the company. I bought it from
a third party.
What's that place? What's that place called?
Was it Overclockers?
Pawn shop.
Overclockers. Yes, I bought it from Overclockers, where I bought mine straight from the company.
Heck yeah. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of Nerds Discuss. We will be back the next time in 5 weeks' time. Roughly, just over 5 weeks. On the 29th of April. So get that in your fucking diary, Jordan, so you don't fucking forget.
I'll forget.
It's over, man.
Well, and so we don't have to reschedule because of a fucking an inconvenient birthday.
There is nobody's birthday that I know on the 29th of April.
Okay, that's good. At least we don't have to rearrange for their birthday like we had to rearrange for yours last fucking week.
You guys did that, not me.
I mean, would you have liked to have done this on the weekend of your birthday instead of streaming your own shit? Like, come on, really?
Obviously, but I'm just saying. I know you're meaning,
exactly.
but you're making it out like I forced your hands.
No, it was just a major inconvenience that your birthday decided to have that weekend as your birthday weekend. Like, God.
Don't worry. It's not the first time I've been told that my birth was a major inconvenience.
Damn.
We're talking about Jordan's dad.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for joining us here on this. I nearly said this Tech Talks thing, and I keep on needing to remind myself that we don't go by that name anymore.
How dare you, sir?
Don't forget you can check us out over on socials, twitter.com. We are at Nerds Discuss over there. You can also check out our YouTube at Nerds Discuss. Funnily enough, you can also go ahead and follow us on Twitch if you're listening to this on any of the other major platforms we're on. We're also on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify for our audio. So definitely go check that out. And also we post blogs and shit, and you can meet the team and whatnot if you visit our website, nerdsdiscuss.com. I've been DJ Costin.
I'm Redneck Alcatraz.
I've been Apocalyptic.
And we will see you all in about 5 weeks' time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Cheerio.